Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you. And today we need to have a very serious talk, guys. There's a real problem in the knife world and one that is plaguing the hearts and minds of all members of the knife community. And that is when you wake up in the morning, you're trying to get ready for work, you put your pants on, you get all dressed, and you go to your whatever, knife drawer, Pelican case, display case, whatever it is, and you look in there to see which knife am I going to carry today. And it starts off this vicious cycle of 25 different knives or 35 or 45 or 55, and the added stress and decision fatigue is just too much. Now listen guys, it's a real thing, okay? Let me be very clear about this. Decision fatigue is a well documented phenomenon that people actually do struggle from, and it's been demonstrated that the more difficult choices you make in a given day, the worse you get at making them. And so now we have the Para 3. Okay, and so to help you avoid those bad choices like the tie you're wearing right now, I'm going to give you some sort of a checklist to think through when you're picking your knife so that every morning you can go through this checklist and you can make your knife selection as stress-free as possible. Now, the first point that is really not a point, guys, but some people might think it's obvious, is you could own just one knife or own fewer knives in general. I don't even know why I'm entertaining this, but if you really want to do that, if you want to narrow down your collection to one or two or I don't know, 20, then what you need to do is start now, begin watching all of my videos. And by the time, a month or two has passed, you'll have finished all my videos. You'll have a good handle on which one or two knives are the most perfectly suited to you and your personality. And if when you're done that, you can go to White Mountain Knives, use my discount code Sharp Stuff to go and buy that knife that you've selected. Or if you're like most normal people who are watching knife videos, I guess normal is debatable there. But if you're like most people who watch knife videos, what you're going to end up doing is wanting to buy all of the knives. And I've reviewed, I don't know, 500 or something like that, maybe more. And again, if you're going to do that, you'll save yourself 10% by going to White Mountain Knives again. So that's worth your time to go ahead and do that. By the way, discount code is Sharp Stuff if I didn't say that already. So next, okay, if you're not going to pare down the collection, which of course no reasonable person is going to do, well then the next option is to think through how I can decide which knife is best for today. And there's a big dilemma here, guys, that philosophers have been debating for eons, and that is what comes first, the knife or the clothing? Okay, so do you put on a pair of pants and then pick the knife that best fits with the pants you're wearing and the size of pockets you have available? Or do you pick the knife first and then accommodate, something big and heavy like this by picking the appropriate pants? And, we may never know the answer to that. I mean, who knows how many doctoral dissertations have been written just trying to think through that one question. And honestly, it's just more than the human brain can comprehend. But my theory is, if I'm going to, add to the uh, documented research that's out there, my theory is the knife must come first. And the knife must have come first because, here you go, guys, if it wasn't for the folding pocket knife, how did they know to put pockets on the pants? Okay, and so it's got to be the pocket knife. That's my educated decision or educated guess about all of this. Now, back to you in your morning day trying to figure out which pants to wear. I can't really help you a whole lot with that. All I would say is this: try out a few different things. Try a knife, try it in these pockets, try it in those pockets, and then when you finally settle on 511s, you've made the right choice. You can get dressed and move on with life. Now, the other thing you're going to have to think carefully about is, what are you doing that day? All right, where are you going? How are you getting there? What activities are you going to be engaging in? Are you walking? Are you riding a bike? Are you driving a car or a motorcycle? Is it hot out? Is it cold out? Okay, are you going to be, doing something active? Are you going to be meeting up with friends? And of course, the most important consideration in all of that is, what are you going to be telling the internet you're doing that day? Okay, and make sure that your knife is appropriate, because if you say, I'm hunting today, and then you show, I don't know, this knife right here, not a hunting knife, guys. No one is going to believe that you were actually hunting. And so, make sure that you pick the folder that's appropriate, which would be, in this case, probably this knife, but that's appropriate for the activity you're going to be lying about today. All right. Further, the next thing you've got to consider is, in addition to what you're doing and what you're going to be telling everyone you're doing, you've got to think about what you're going to be around. Are you near water? Are you near a field full of flowers? Or is it going to be, a mountain backdrop? And what knife finishes are best going to match those backgrounds so that your Instagram pictures turn out as good as possible? Is it super bright? If it's really bright, maybe you want to avoid the satin finishes so that you don't get the glare off the blade. If it's going to be brightly colored backgrounds, then maybe you want to go with more of a muted colored knife. On the other hand, if it's going to be dull backgrounds, maybe you want something bright that's really going to pop. Okay, so think through all of those backgrounds and what Instagram photos are going to be available so that you can make the best choice about that. And then, of course, I don't know what this number is, 6 or 7. You've got to think about what cutting tasks you may actually have that day. Okay, so if you're going to be doing a lot of sort of kitchen prep work, then maybe you've got to cut up apples for the kids, you're going to prepare a meal, or you've got friends coming over for a barbecue and you've got to cut up the meat, you're carving a turkey, well, use a kitchen knife for all that stuff. If you're going to be doing utility type work, maybe you're drywalling that day, you're cutting up carpet, you're working in construction, then an Olfa knife is definitely your best choice. Maybe you're going camping, or you're having friends over for a bonfire, and you're going to be doing some wood processing, then of course use a hatchet. The best part is, whatever job you do, you can always, take the finished product, throw your folding knife on top of the finished work, and hashtag it with "use your stuff." So really, it's hard to lose when it comes to what cutting tasks you're going to be doing that day, and that's a tough one to get wrong. The next thing to consider is, how much did you spend, and how much how much do your friends appreciate spending? Are they the kind of value-minded people who are going to be more impressed by a Rat Model 1 that can do all kinds of things for $30? Or are they going to be more impressed by, the limited availability Chavez 229 that can do all kinds of things for $300? All right. That's a tough choice, and depending on what kind of circle of friends you're with, you're going to have to gauge that on a daily by situation basis. All right. Are there going to be friends who know something about knives or know nothing about knives? Make sure, of course, you got to make sure there's no blade play, there's nothing like that. Before you go out, don't give this just a little shake and go, okay, because the worst thing you want to do is hand this to someone and they go, "Oh man, I thought you knew about knives and this has blade play," right? Embarrassing for everybody. So just avoid that situation by checking beforehand. Will your friends be knife friends or not? Okay, so if they're knife friends, then this becomes critical. You've got to find like the latest and greatest cool thing. So, these, because they just shipped a little bit ago from Massdrop, these are going to be pretty popular with your knife friends. Maybe the knife that you've had a little bit of custom work done on, or you've added some aftermarket features to, is worth bringing. But make sure it's appropriately impressive for the kind of people you're going to be around. Now, of course, we haven't really talked a lot about the handle, and so if you're going to be, actually, the handle and the steel, okay. Guess what, guys? FRN and HCR13 MOV is fine for the envelopes you're going to be opening. So I wouldn't worry too much about the handle materials or the steel or the comfort in hand. I do hope that all of these pointers have helped you to make your choice more easily and to give you a little less stress in your day-to-day life. I know picking that knife to use is really, really difficult. And of course, after you pick the best knife for the day, all you have to worry about is the multi-tool, the lighter, the flashlight, and hopefully that's it. As for me, I'm going with a fixed blade. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd love to hear your comments down below about what criteria you use to make your knife choices, and we will talk to you soon.